All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're plunging straight into a grim, dark, gothic fable to unpack a seriously profound philosophical concept. We are going to explore the tragic transition of human vitality fading into cold mechanical stasis and uncover how light and dark interact in literally the most extreme ways imaginable. So let's dive right into this dark expanse of existence and dissect a truly fascinating idea drawn directly from Nietzschean philosophy.
The absolute core of our journey today is a concept known as star friendship. Now, in our everyday lives, we tend to think of friendship as closeness, right? Bonding, emotional synthesis, always being there for each other. But this concept, it completely flips that on its head. Rather than offering warm terrestrial reassurance, this cosmic law proves that two opposing forces, like light and dark, or order and chaos, absolutely must remain apart to survive. They share an immense, unspoken alignment precisely because they are bound to totally different stellar paths.
And this idea brilliantly illustrates how the two archetypes in our Gothic narrative interact. They don't connect through clumsy words or noisy emotional codependency. No way. They connect through a silent, magnificent orbit. Think about massive planets in the void of deep space, just passing one another in the dark. Their mutual gravitational pull is the only thing sustaining them. Let's meet the first of these two celestial bodies so we can really understand what this looks like in practice.
Section 1. Iron, Bone, and Stasis. We begin our narrative with the soothsayer. I want you to picture him as an unyielding sentinel representing absolute structured detachment. This right here is the tragic transition from chaotic human vitality into cold stasis. He stands like a frozen, architectural monument against a cracked brick facade, just absorbing the cold light of an indifferent cosmos. With milky white spheres for eyes staring straight ahead, he is fixed on an unalterable trajectory toward absolute mechanical stillness. He is, for all intents and purposes, the very embodiment of rigid order. Now, think about the metaphor here, because his mechanical body perfectly illustrates deep spiritual decay. Encased in heavy iron plates and grinding brass cogs, he has deliberately frozen his own internal nuclear furnace, his vitality, his very soul. Why? To escape the agonizing chaos of becoming. It is the ultimate expression of nihilism. He's choosing the death of the spirit over the pain of growth.
In this frozen state, his sole purpose is to march across the dead plains of the world. And you know what's truly chilling? The citizens of this ruined city, the ones who still dare to breathe, they completely mirror his exact hollow internal state. He broadcasts his grim gospel of static survival out to them, and they just offer a terrifying reflection of his own spiritual emptiness right back. It's a lonely, solitary broadcast across a completely dead world.
Section 2. The Dionysian Ink Shadow.
But here's the thing, stasis can't exist forever without eventually birthing its exact opposite. The human psyche abhors a vacuum. So, deep within the dark, liquid negative space beneath the soothsayer's iron collar, a second celestial body begins to coalesce. This is the unconscious mind fighting back. The jester shadow emerges from everything the soothsayer violently stripped away from himself. Its stellar mass has just grown way too dense to stay hidden. That repressed energy literally has to find a way out.
And man, what emerges is spectacular. It's an ink-stained fiend. Actually, it's the very embodiment of the Dionysian spirit, full of ecstatic laughter, volatile passions, and a terrifying, playful madness. It bursts outward as a force of absolute chaotic movement, which fiercely contrasts the soothsayer's sterile rigidity. Where the soothsayer is iron and stasis, the jester is liquid, boundless energy. As this chaotic entity casts its long, horned silhouette across the brickwork, a critical truth emerges. The jester doesn't actually want to destroy the soothsayer. It doesn't want to permanently fuse with him either. Rather, it exists as an independent force of continuous disruption. It acts as the much-needed counterweight to the soothsayer's deadening anchor.
Section 3. A Silent, Magnificent Orbit. Together, these two entities form two halves of a singular cosmic equation. They acknowledge each other purely through the sheer gravity of their opposing natures. On one side, you have the soothsayer providing the necessary heavy anchor of absolute boundaries and icy structure. On the other side, the jester brings the volatile, dynamic friction of continuous disruption. One simply cannot exist in any meaningful way without the other to define its limits.
While they are totally enemies in their methods, it's pretty breathtaking to realize that they are ultimate allies in rejecting a mediocre, comfortable, and lukewarm existence. They transform their internal war into a perfectly balanced cosmic dance. By remaining apart, they validate each other's existence through eternal division. It's a brilliant, silent partnership forged in the void.
Section 4. The threat of absolute annihilation.
So, what does this all mean if their parallel paths ever actually intersect? Well, this immutable law guarantees absolute destruction. Think about it. If the jester overwhelms the soothsayer, the universe loses all structure, dissolving into a meaningless, formless soup of chaotic ink. But on the flip side, if the soothsayer completely crushes the jester, existence freezes entirely into a dead, mechanical graveyard. Total order is death, and total chaos is death. To avoid this annihilation, the friendship demands an immense and, frankly, painful distance. They're condemned to run parallel to each other through the dark void forever. One is a silent machine of iron and bone, the other a mocking trickster of liquid shadow. But you have to understand, their separation isn't a failure of their relationship. It's the absolute purity of their cosmic division keeping the universe alive.
Section 5. The Reverence of Distance.
Ultimately, what you should take away from this explainer is how this Gothic myth entirely redefines our understanding of true companionship. A true star friendship actively avoids sentimental unity. Instead, it demands the reverent preservation of distance. As the soothsayer and the jester drift further apart into their own independent, infinite horizons, they leave us with the ultimate lesson on mutual validation. Order and chaos need each other to define their limits. They absolutely must respect the void between them to maintain their individual purposes.
Delivering this haunting truth, we see that embracing the void between us can actually be the most profound act of love and respect imaginable. It takes immense strength to not consume or try to change the opposing forces in our lives, but rather to let them shine brightly on their own distinct, unyielding trajectories.
And so, I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought to ponder in the dark. Do you have the courage to let your closest companion remain a distant, beautiful star? It's a challenging philosophy for sure, but one that fundamentally changes how we view connection, distance, and the cosmic dance of our very own lives. Thank you so much for joining me for this philosophical explainer. Keep looking at the stars, and always respect the space between them.